peoples of the worldwide federated internet. What's good? There are many brilliant people commenting on many things across the internet. There's many brilliant Bible commentators. There is brilliant news commentators. There's brilliant sports commentators. I am neither. And I am thankful that I know my place. I was studying my Bible today, and I had some different things that I wanted to kind of go over and talk about, things that I was looking at as I was studying. And I just didn't, there was an uneasy feeling going into like a couple videos I thought about making on some thoughts that I had. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm just going to sit on these ideas right here because I don't think I really have the grasp on these ideas that I think I do. And here's the thing about that. I think sometimes, because this is the information age, we all have access to any information you want, you have access to. Literally anything you want to know, you can find it somewhere on the internet. If you would like to know, it is out there. That is both a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because it is, if you're paying attention, it's actually easy for you to be informed and harder for you to be duped. The curse is people read a snippet of something or look at something for a split second and think they know everything just based off that little bit of research or little bit of reading. And that is a very dangerous position to be in. And I'm learning that, especially with the Bible. It's bad enough when you do that with the news. And you know what's funny is, so I don't know if any of you have seen it, but it's an 8-minute video clip from the body cam footage from the George Floyd situation. I guess it was leaked. And here's another thing that's funny about that. I'm on all kind of tangents. They could have released this body cam footage shortly after everything happened. I know for me, at least, it changed how I viewed that whole situation, because you see clearly when they tap on his window, he seems off. Like something is not right. Now, if I'm a police officer, I'm being honest with you. If I'm a police officer and a person is acting erratic like he was, my first thought is, all right, put your hands on the wheel. Let me see your hands, which they said. And he just wasn't listening. And I don't think it was necessarily because he didn't want to listen. I just don't think he was in his right mind. I looked up his autopsy report, and I guess he had fentanyl and methamphetamine in his blood, according to the autopsy report. So something was definitely off. When you see that full 8-minute video clip, it doesn't change the fact that he should not have been murdered. He definitely should not have been murdered, and I think it was murder, personally. Looking at the video, I don't know how you see that any other way. But it changes what I think about the entire situation, because now I have more context. So the original video I saw was them taking him out of his car. You see his friends get out the car. You see them walk him across the street. So from the angle I saw, the videos I saw, it looked like they put him in a car and then pulled him back out the car. But when you see the body cam footage, you see he was fighting them. He didn't want to get in the car, and he kept saying he's claustrophobic. So one of the officers said, "Hey man, just get in the car. I'll roll down the window for you. We need you to get in the car." He's fighting them. Not like physically fighting them, but he's not going in willingly. He gets in, and it looks like he's trying to push himself out the other door. So that's when you see one of the officers walk around to the other side, and it looks like he pushes himself out of the vehicle. So he was really being problematic. Even when he got out of his car, one of his friends that were in the car with him said, "Hey, stop resisting." It was a female. Why'd I bring all of that up? When you have a full context of a situation, it changes what you think. So this brings me to a thought I do have from the Bible, and it's covered in a proverb that I'm very familiar with, that I've committed to memory. And this principle and this concept, super helpful to me, at least. Keeps me humble. Let's get to it. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 13, the Bible says, "He that answereth the matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him." That's responding to something, giving an answer when you don't have all the information, you don't have all the facts. This is something that, as a believer, for those of you who are Christians, having all the information, this is something that should be important to you. In chapter 17 of the book of Proverbs, verse 27 and 28, the Bible says, "He that hath knowledge spareth his words, and a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise, and he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding." Sometimes I think we just need to hold our peace. And I think that happened to me today. Well, I know that happened to me today, studying my Bible and thinking over the things that I wanted to discuss. And I was uneasy, right? Like I'm going in to make a whole nother video, and the whole time I'm just like, I'm not feeling this right now. Like, what is it? So I'm looking more deeply into, the issue I'm going over biblically. And I'm like, clearly I don't have an understanding of this. I'm reading some other things, and I'm like, yeah, let me go ahead and let me back off of this. Who can know everything? Who does know everything? I think one of the major dangers of doing this, especially for a believer biblically, is false doctrine is dangerous because it's like a domino effect. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to understand all things, right? But that's the point. I don't understand all things. You have to know what you don't know. And we live in an age where everybody's an expert. You turn on the news, right? This baffles me. Every news station you turn on, every news report you see, they're always talking to some other expert on some issue. And I'm like, yo, if we have all of these experts on all of these issues, why are we still having all of these problems? We got so many experts, they should be able to instruct us on how to fix all of this stuff or how to stay away from making these mistakes. Like, what? It doesn't make sense to me. And when you listen to some of these experts, it's like, I don't know much, but this dude or this lady is not really, I don't know if I can ride with this. Because everybody wants to be an expert. Sometimes we just need to know when to play our position. That's why, look, y'all know my saying, I am just a guy with a thought. That is not a joke. It is not a game. It's not just a saying, literally a thing. I'm just a guy with a thought. The things I talk about on a day-to-day basis in my videos is just me talking about what I was thinking from the Bible, right? Like I'm reading my Bible and I'm thinking different things and I'm just sharing with you, the internet, the worldwide federated internet, what I think on whatever issue I'm going over in my Bible. And times like today, I'm going over some issues and I'm like, whew, I definitely don't understand this, God. Like, what the heck is going on right now? So you know what? That's when I put that to the back burner. Like, yeah, I'll talk about that another time when I have a better understanding. And sometimes I have a lot of thoughts and I understand some things, but I don't necessarily know how to convey those thoughts. And that's another issue. But the reason I talked about that George Floyd situation is it reminds me of false doctrine, right? Because think about it. We were sold a false doctrine that he was cooperating. They put him in the vehicle. They pulled him out. All of this stuff happened. Again, he did not deserve to be murdered. But now seeing that body cam footage and having full context or more context for what was going on, I'm like, oh, okay, well, this situation was kind of problematic. This situation wasn't as cut and dry as it was sold to us. Think about that. So think about the fact that the false narrative that was sold about the whole situation. I'm not talking about the murder. He was definitely murdered, definitely didn't deserve that. But the false narrative that was peddled about the entire situation is really what produced the outrage. I think most people, even some of the people who are outraged, would have still been outraged, but how outraged would they have been really having the full context of what happened? Kind of like, Rashard Brooks in Atlanta. Should the cop have shot him? That's debatable. And the reason it's debatable is because we have a full context of the cops talking to him. We got the body cam footage. We got them being very nice and cordial to him. We got them saying, all right, turn around, put your hands behind your back. He's cooperating. Next thing you know, he's giving them cops the what for? Bang, bang, bang. Pulls one of their tasers, fires the taser at him, is running, turns around to fire the taser. Now, I don't know if the officer who fired the gun didn't know it was the taser that he had that he was turning around to fire, or if he thought it was something else, right? So when you're looking at a situation like that, given all that context, you're not just prone to jump in, or a rational person is not just going to jump in and be all gun-ho on the cop. Like, I wouldn't have shot him, but the situation is kind of complicated, so we'll have to see, some more things and get some more details. But with the George Floyd situation, the way it was sold, informed how people reacted. So now taking that, unpacking that, and looking at false doctrine. A false doctrine can inform how you approach other biblical things and can lead you down in a snowball effect of false doctrine. This is why, for me, I am super attentive when people say things. I don't care if it's somebody I respect. If I hear something from somebody I respect and it's something that I don't understand, I'm not just going to adopt whatever it is they said. Now, if I can see clearly from the Bible what they're saying, I'm like, oh, yeah, well, this is what the Bible says. But if it's something that I'm like, oof, I don't see that and I don't understand it, so I'm just going to fall back on that until I get a better understanding biblically. It's a better position to be in when you do that, I'm telling you. such a better position. I think so many things go wrong when we rush to ideas and rush to conclusions we don't understand biblically. And in a social setting, same thing. When we rush to ideas and conclusions we don't understand, you put yourself in a dangerous situation. This is why when it comes to the news, I love the news. I pay attention to the news. I always say I'm an information junkie, but the news cycle moves so fast. There's so many moving parts that there's just some things I'm like, I'm going to leave that alone because I don't know. There might be more information come out. Maybe I don't have all the information. Maybe there's something that was omitted. Maybe there's something that's going to be added later on. And if I draw a conclusion now, I'll be completely wrong. So I'm just like, I'll wait, dig, and get some more info. I'm the same way with my Bible, and I think all of us should be that same way. If you don't know, just keep digging. Keep digging until you get a full context of what the Bible says about an issue. You don't have to know everything. And I think that's the problem, is we all feel like we have to know everything. Like, well, they understand this doctrine? Well, then I have to have a position right now because they have a position. I don't have to have anything. If I don't understand something biblically, I don't care if there's 50 million people who have a position on it. I'm like, hey, bro, I don't know. I'm studying right now. When I see something and when I see a biblical conclusion, then that's what I'll stick with. That'll keep us from a lot of trouble. Stay frosty, people.